Hello and welcome to India Today. I am Sanjay Ponnappa.
And this is Maruthi Acharya, and we just completed watching my most anticipated film of 2026, Chatha Pacha.
The most memorable parts of this film for me is all the ooh and wrestling basically. As a huge WWE fan, right from my childhood, as someone who was very sad recently when I'm already choking up when John Cena retired. This film was all about the fun, all about the wrestling, all about the entertainment. But when you look at it from a point of view as a film, it has a lot of problems as well.
Like I said, because it is one of my most anticipated film, in some portions where the story, the setup is also not complementing the film enough, I was trying very hard to enjoy the film. Not that it doesn't have moments to enjoy. There are moments, but the story, the potential, the material, everything promised that those moments will be a lot higher than what the movie offered. Let's get into the details. Firstly, what works in the film?
Like I said, the fun element in the film is what works for me. The action sequences. Again, the film is built around a pro wrestling setting. The people here are coming up with this
Costume wrestling.
costume wrestling. Yeah. So costume wrestling is introduced. Basically, that is pro wrestling for the rest of the
Yeah.
world. That whole element about how that gets established, how the idea is, and its execution felt really good. When the action sequences that come in, not the actual fights in the film, the performed fights. Those things were also very interesting. The way they were executing all the iconic moves from what we've seen ever since our childhood, be it from Macho Man Randy Savage to Hulk Hogan to Undertaker to John Cena to Roman Reigns recently and The Rock. All these references were very fun. It evoked that nostalgic feeling of being a pro wrestling fan, and that was the most entertaining element in the film.
Not just that, some portions lead up with maybe the childhood portion. There are some portions where there is prep happening for this wrestling, how they come together, how they bring up the fun elements of those portions also. Action was really fantastic, especially the interval block with the references. The interval block itself is enough to buy the ticket. It is that beautifully executed piece.
Yeah, for the WWE fans, mild spoilers, but Jeff Hardy versus Matt Hardy, Undertaker versus the Kane.
Yeah, the next solid quality in the film is performances. One, what we see on big screen, and two, the conviction of everybody, starting from Arjun Ashokan, Roshan Mathew, Vishak Nair. It is a very interesting character in the way he played. It was fun watching him on screen. Overall, also, there is a cameo.
The
that
buzz
was
is there.
Yeah.
Cameo is there. It was fun also. Ishan Shoukath, who's basically the glue that is keeping the group together. He also does a really good job. Everybody in the cast does a decent job. The beauty about Malayalam films is that it doesn't feel like everybody is performing. I wouldn't be able to predict how all of these actors would perform in a film if they're taken out of that pond and put in some other water.
Yeah.
Right. But at the end of the day, the beauty about capturing these films is that they capture all these reactions, all these expressions really beautifully, that all the performers come out looking really good.
Special mention to the child actor who played a very important role in the film,
Rosamma.
Rosamma.
The music in the film at points do a good job.
Yeah.
Technical department on a whole itself do a good job if you consider that. But music, particularly some songs, some background music, really engages you. It brings up the adrenaline along with the visual that is going on.
Yeah, the introduction of Savio and the song that plays there was really good, and Mujib Majid's BGM also in most of the fun portions, entertainment portions, it lands. And the visual aesthetic of the film is something that I really liked from the teaser, from the trailer. Start the color grading, frames, how they have lit up the scene. It is beautifully done. The visual aesthetic of the film is nothing short of international quality. But camera work, I have some problems. We'll discuss about that.
Getting to the demerits in the film, first things first, I feel like the biggest drawback for me, the biggest turn off while watching the film was that the core, the most crucial conflict point in the film was very underwhelming. Whether it was the writing, whether it was the screenplay, or whether it was the execution, on a whole it felt like the conflict point wasn't very hard hitting. And it didn't leave an impact that it should have, which would have carried the film through the second half.
I would put it this way, my biggest problem of the film is writing and direction of debutant Adhvaith Nayar also, not completely, but majorly with the portions where the emotional hook, the core of the film is. Whether you take the flashback episode, whether you take the reason why they are not together or they become together, or the last fight between brothers when they are pitted against each other, how it is revealed, what is the reason, what is the stake. I feel the idea on paper, okay, this is the reason why this happens, this is the reason why this happens. I think the idea has merit, but it didn't translate well onto the big screen. Largely that is because there is a lot of hype sequence. We listen about things, we listen characters saying, before this he was like that, before that he was like this is what happened, that is what happened, and we are seeing what is happening today. So the emotional connect of the core element is clearly missing, because of which all the build up is for nothing, and for some time if it is used smartly it will work. But I feel the movie feels way too stretched just because there's too much build up happening, there's too much resolution happening. So the emotional weight which is supposed to put these things together is missing from the film. I think that is why the film feels slow and emotionally disconnected.
For example, we spoke about how good the performance of the child actor who plays Rosa was. But there are so many points where it feels like crucial parts about her character are just skipped and left for understanding. Whether that was cut at the edit table to make the film crisp or not, I don't know. It does feel like that because this problem exists with all the characters and in several really important moments. But even with this particular character, which showed a lot of scope, introduced really well, with a lot of savviness, with a lot of energy, which kind of lit up the screen basically when she was introduced. And later on, it felt like she was just constantly sent off the screen to get sugar from her neighbor, never really utilized fully to her potential. So that should have been better utilized.
Another important thing that could have made this film experience a lot better is prioritizing on your idea. What is that the film stands for at the core level? The other elements can exist, but you should have a core with which your audience should get hooked onto. Is it this introduction of new costume wrestling sport that you're trying to, or keep the wrestling spirit alive? Or is it the union of the friends? Or is it the gang wars between Bullet Walter gang and the other gang? Or is it the backstory of why one of the characters is in jail, coming back? What is the stakes of the other character? So the movie is messy in lot of directions by including lot of elements, and amongst the portions that I've mentioned is all the emotional drama part of it. And the movie, half of the movie is also fun, entertaining fights. So because the movie has so many elements which is not clearly explored.
So basically, films like these are, like a sweater that you're knitting. You need to do it properly, otherwise one sleeve will come short, one sleeve will be too large.
Yeah.
That is basically what happened here, where there were a lot of elements and the knitting wasn't really good. The craft kind of didn't live up to the expectation is what I'd say.
Before ending the video, one more thing. I felt, again, mention your thoughts in the comment section below, and you too, Sanjay. I think the camera work, especially in the climatic portions of the film, I've seen glimpses of it, but especially in the climax. See, for example, if you take Tallumala, if you take Alapua Gymkhana, or if you take RDX also for that matter, these films, there is a lot of good chaos, on-screen chaos, especially the way they capture the fight sequence. I think they nailed it in the interval portions of this film, Chatha Pacha, but I think towards the climax, the camera was not exactly complementing the fight sequence, or not complementing what the chaos was intended, the experience of having that chaotic feeling. The scene itself, the action block had a lot of potential, but it was not captured better is what I feel.
I feel like, in my opinion, it is not just the camera work, the entire climax portion itself was rushed. And in this rush, it felt like the technical department as well as writing kind of came down because they didn't invest enough time which was needed to build the stakes for that climax sequence. And the whole, it felt like all of a sudden we are in the climax fight. It just was abrupt. A fight that was supposed to take place Friday took place Wednesday. So that is what happened in my opinion.
Overall, again, though we mentioned these things could have been better, but still there are lot of engaging, entertaining, fun moments in the film, especially WWF fans or somebody who likes watching action. This film will not disappoint you fully because there are those elements which will make you feel, yeah, it was fun. But considering the promotional material, considering my expectations especially, and the clarity of what the film wanted to be or what it showed that it is going to be and what it has become, I think if you're going with that expectations, you might be a little disappointed. But still, go watch the movie and mention your thoughts in the comment section below.
Yes, like he said, all of that is there, but at the end of the day, it is about you wanting to watch a film or not. So if you watch the trailer and you found it interesting, you wanted to go and watch it, we will encourage, as we encourage in all films, that please go to the theaters and watch the film. With that, I am Sanjay Ponnappa.
And this is Maruthi Acharya.
And you're watching India Today.